Okay, it's Tesla earnings week. It's a big week, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff happening with the company. There's a lot of stuff happening. As you know, Robotaxi has launched. And of course, there's going to be a lot of questions on the earnings call. Now, the earnings come out at after the close of market on Wednesday, 4:30. The earnings call will begin. The earnings will begin, and then the call will be followed right after that. And I've been following a lot of the creators on X, Sawyer Merritt and Omar from Whole Mars, a lot of the guys that follow this stuff very closely. And they've done some profiling on the list of questions that are going to be asked or that have been chosen for the earnings call. And they're very interesting. A lot of them are very interesting. In the past, many of us have complained that they waste time on stupid questions. You know, they'll be asking like, well, what about the Robotaxi launch in, Las Vegas? And when is it going to happen here? Like stuff that is going to come in time, but they don't ask any serious questions about, the really inner workings of what's going on at Tesla. And a lot of the questions this time are much better. Anyway, you can look them up. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe. Thanks for coming back. If you've been here before, I would like you to share the video, and I would also like you to comment if you have any questions about Tesla, if there's any things you would want to talk about Tesla, or anything to do with markets, frankly. And also, please check my description for links that are discounts. I have Tesla discount link there. I have a buy me a coffee link if you want to buy me a coffee. And I've got some, simple financial links, easy, approaches to investing on there. So do me a favor, go on there and check that stuff out. And on top of that, Tesla Semi is really, the factory now is really ramping up out there in Las Vegas. Zengler, I will leave a link for him in the description. He is the Tesla Semi advocate. He does drone flyovers of the new production, the old production site, the new production, the factory that's, they just got the roof on this. There's some videos. I'm gonna try to put a video up here that I have of that. An inside video that was released, I believe, by Tesla. I have to look into that. I'm not sure about copyright stuff, so I have to be careful. But Zengler is your guy. And Joe Tegmeyer is also doing some stuff with Zengler now. There's some equipment that's being moved from Giga Texas to Giga Nevada, and it's stamping equipment. And if you do yourself a favor, catch up with those guys, and I think you'll get some insights. Anyway, there's big stuff going on at Tesla right now. Elon Musk is in what we call beast mode. He is full on 1000% focused on the company. And we believe he's extremely focused on artificial intelligence right now. He has always believed that artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles are the future. He has launched Grok, which you can now access from your Tesla vehicle. And this is going to be a game changer. This is Tesla 2.0, whatever you want to call it. This is the future we have always been waiting for. We have said it for years. Tesla is not a car company. It may look like that currently. That is not the future of the company. Now, let's jump over to the diner. The Tesla diner in Los Angeles is launching tomorrow on the 21st, I believe. And they're saying that in order for you to enter the diner, you have to have a code. So we believe that only Tesla owners and passengers or whatever will be allowed into the Tesla diner. There is 80 chargers in there on the property. They have these Jumbotron TVs. They're showing movies of like rocket launches and, Tesla related stuff. There's food there. Of course, it's a classic diner, burgers, fries. They've got the people on the roller skates that are delivering the food to the vehicles. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I don't know, but I'm going to bet that I'm sure Tesla will launch these in other cities. I'm sure there'll be one in New York. There'll be one in Chicago. There'll be one in San Francisco. There'll be one in, Miami, wherever. Obviously, these things tend to launch in major cities first. God, I'd love, I've been in the restaurant business all my life. I would love to do a Tesla themed like bar and grill restaurant, sports pub, whatever it is. It's so cool. The stuff that's going on with this company is cool, but there's a lot of stuff happening with Robotaxi. Robotaxi, as you know, has now expanded its geofenced area. And there are rumors going around that the Robotaxi is now they're mapping the area, right? With the big, the tripod on the roof type of thing, driving around to map for the geofence area. They're saying that it's in like remote corners of Austin now. So it's mapping the area. They've been seen mapping in the Bay Area, in California. We believe that's going to start soon in Phoenix, Arizona. We believe it's going to start soon in Atlanta. And there is some speculation that this may ramp quicker than people even think. One of the things that separates Tesla from Waymo, let's use Waymo just as one example. I know there are a lot of companies talking about autonomous technology, but Tesla is neural nets. It's basically vision only. And the difference between that and LiDAR is required mapping of an area. The area must be mapped or it will not work. Now, I can operate, I have a Model 3. Let's not talk about me. The current 2025 Model Y with version 13.2.9 full self-driving is very, very close to Robotaxi quality. You follow me? Now, the Robotaxis that are operating in Austin have a different technology than 13.2.9. They have a new software that's specifically for those vehicles. Many people believe that technology will very soon be coming to every Model Y in the fleet. That then leads to the speculation that there is a huge possibility that rather than Tesla ramping, let's say, in all of Austin, and then going to the Bay Area, and then going to, Los Angeles, and then going to San Francisco, let's say, Phoenix or Atlanta, there are people believing it's very possible Tesla could actually just flip a switch and launch Robotaxi everywhere in North America, from the smallest towns to the biggest cities. Now, again, that's speculation, but that's speculation from highly intelligent people who are software engineers who understand the technology that is in the software that Tesla are using for Robotaxi. Though, whatever you do, do not discount that possibility that this is going to come. Now, apart from Robotaxi, as you know, let's get back to Robotaxi just 1 second. They've raised the price from $420 to $690, typical Elon. So we don't know where the ceiling will be. eventually, but 690 is a nice number for sure. And, we've always expected that Robotaxi would be considerably less than an Uber or a Waymo or anything else that's out there. So this is a really, really, really big deal. Now, getting back to the diner for a minute, the other thing that's happening at the diner, and there are some videos, I'll put a picture up here, but there are some videos now of the Optimus robot who is actively working at the Tesla diner, and oddly enough, it is handing out popcorn to people. I'm guessing there's a popcorn machine which is outside, I believe it's outside in the parking lot, and you walk up to a counter and the robot, pushes in the scoop, fills the bag of popcorn, and he's handing it, or it, I shouldn't say he. I'm sorry. It is handing it to the customers or the people there who are charging their vehicles. That's a really big deal. That's a working robot, and I can guarantee you restaurants around the country and around the world are looking at this going, wait a second, I could have that robot passing out food, or I could have that robot, handing out napkins, or I could have them, bringing the ketchup to the table, or whatever it is. Optimus Robot is going to be an enormous part of the business. One of the questions that's going to be asked, we believe, in the earnings call is, will there be a few thousand Optimus robots working in the factories by December? As you know, Elon has stated before that he believed that by the end of this year, by December, there would be maybe 5,000 or 10,000 robots working in the factory. Frankly, none of us ever believed it would be 5,000. If he said there was 500 working in the factory by December, that would be really impressive, frankly. Because once you get the prototypes and you build the prototypes, and then you can build 500, you can definitely scale very rapidly past that point. And they are saying that scaling the Optimus robot is going to be much easier than the cars or any other products that Tesla are going to make. So that's something to really watch for. And I know that question is going to come up in the earnings call. That's going to be really exciting to see what his answer is to that question. The other thing, I'm sure, even though we're not near the end of the third quarter by any stretch, I'm sure he will give some kind of indications as to the ramp in sales of the Model Y. Most of us in the community believe that there's enormous demand for the new Model Y. We also believe that what's driving that is the Robotaxi launch. There are a lot of people who are paying very close attention to that Robotaxi, and they kind of like the idea of owning the vehicle that's able to, perform that whole process. So we believe that is going to catapult sales. Also, the diner is going to catapult sales. People are going to be like, wow, how cool is that? If I have to have a passcode to get there and I don't have a Tesla, what kind of loser am I? Maybe it's time I got a Tesla. And this is what's happening. This is a cultural shift. People, it's like the iPhone. I've said it from day one. There are phones and there's the iPhone. There's Burger King, there's all these burger joints, but there's McDonald's. I'm telling you right now, Tesla is the iPhone when it comes to EVs. How do I know this? Well, because I drive one. And as you know, I did a video the other day, yesterday actually, of my trip to New York without full self-driving. It was torture. But I'm sure you've watched that video. If not, just back up one and watch it. It was absolute torture. So a lot of excitement around the earnings call. I'm not sure if we will have any financials, and they would be minuscules anyway, to do with the Robotaxi, even though they are, of course, gaining revenue. But some are speculating, there's only about 35 cars out there currently. So we're not sure how much that, actually is going to show in the numbers. It's probably not. But it will give us an indication that there is, of course, another income stream coming to the company. And that's always a positive. And that can only grow from here. So that's something to pay attention to also during the earnings call. Now, there's so much that's going to be discussed in that. It's just beyond imagination. Some are speculating this may be one of the most important earnings calls in Tesla's history, because you have all these technologies coming together right now. Tesla Semi is ramping. Model Y production has ramped. The new Model Y L, have you heard about that? The new Model Y L, which is the 7-seater option, or the third row option of the Model Y, has launched in China. And we know how fast Tesla operates. I'm sure that vehicle they will say something about it in the earnings call. And of course, we will have more information possibly as to when it's going to get to North America. Now, all of us believe in the Tesla community that this model will obviously be higher than the current Model Y. And we firmly believe that very soon, the smaller version of the Model Y. There's a Model Y, there's the Model Y L, which is the larger version. We believe that there could be a Model Y smaller version coming soon. Some call it the $25,000 vehicle. Some call it Model Q. Some call it Model 2, whatever you want to call it. We don't know what it's going to be called. It can't be called Model S for small because we already have a Model S. But maybe it could be Model Mini or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. Model Baby or Model Petite. I don't know. I'm just having fun with it. But we do believe that that's going to be coming. Now, when that comes, we don't know. It would be nice if they alluded to something to do with that model in the earnings call. That would obviously boost the company, it would boost the stock. And although if you're a Tesla investor, by the way, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am not qualified. It's very important for you to do your own research. But I will be buying Tesla for as long as I can. I'm still buying it today. I bought some last week. I'll probably buy some tomorrow. As you can tell, there's a lot of positivity around the company, but we believe that this is the time. Now it's starting to happen. And unless there's some unforeseen, massive recession or depression, which is always possible. If you're an investor, you know that. We believe that Tesla is very well positioned to start skyrocketing. Wall Street is now paying attention to the fact that, whoa, wait a minute. You mean they don't just make cars? You mean they can make money? Their inventory is actually valuable because they can just send their inventory out to make money for them at will? That's happening. Wall Street are starting to figure that out. The other side of this is you have to understand on the energy side, the mega packs are selling like hotcakes, baby. They can't produce battery materials and battery systems fast enough for the demand that's out there for battery packs. So much so that Redwood Materials, as you know, are now making megapack storage systems out of used EV batteries that are going to also be used to back up the grid. And if you know anything about Redwood Materials, you know that the man over there, his name is JB Straubel, and he's one of the OGs that was in that garage with Musk when they were building that Mazda with a battery in it. So these guys know exactly where this industry is going. They know that the future is electric vehicles. The future of energy is battery storage and power walls and all that stuff. So I think on the earnings call, I think you're going to get a lot of information about Tesla Energy Division. The other thing that happened, and this is small when it comes to the earnings call, but I think it was a big deal. You've all heard about the train to nowhere that, what's his name? Gavin Newsom I shouldn't say that, whatever. But anyway, people call him Gavin Newsom, so I just do the same thing. Gavin Newsom, his train to nowhere that cost hundreds of billions of dollars was just killed by the federal government. They've basically cut off all the funding. And frankly, truth be known, I'm going to guess, even though he won't say it, I'm going to guess that Gavin Newsom is probably really happy about that, because it was a complete disaster. They barely got a couple of miles of it done. And it was costing something like 300 million per mile. Per mile. Get your head around that. 300 million per mile. Now, the belief is that the best way to make this happen in the future is to go underground. Guess who's positioned to go underground? You got it. The Boring Company. So there's some speculation that there could be a conversation at some point between Gavin Newsom and Elon Musk about the possibility of building a tunnel or boring a tunnel in California to take all that traffic out to areas that people can live in a lot cheaper than they can in the metropolitan areas. The Boring Company is going to grow. They've obviously proved that the technology works. And don't quote me on this, but I think that the boring tunnels cost something like 10 million per mile as opposed to 300 million. I mean, that's a huge, huge difference. And a huge savings, by the way, to the federal government and the states. So we all know the feud between, it's not even a feud, it's boys will be boys stuff that's going on with Trump and Elon Musk. But the reality is, Musk and his companies could save the federal government a lot of money. As we all know, Trump was looking into cutting off some of the funding for SpaceX until he realized, and his team got back to him and said, Mr. President, wait a second. SpaceX are saving us a fortune on this stuff. We can't afford to do this as good as they can. We won't save money the way they save money. We won't be able to protect the taxpayers like they will be able to protect the taxpayers. And you know what? That's what's happening with SpaceX. That's also what's going to happen with the Boring Company. And I had a funny thought today. Somebody brought up a conversation about the post office and how I know I'm going off subject here, but how expensive it is to deliver the mail. And while nobody wants to see people losing their jobs, I certainly don't. The reality is technology is going to take jobs. We all know artificial intelligence is coming for many jobs. But I had this interesting thought. Try to imagine a robotaxi becoming the mail carrier. And the Optimus robot in the front seat, all they have to do is just stuff the mail into the mailbox. Don't think that's not possible. Imagine the enormous amount of savings that could be created by using that technology instead of the mail carriers, instead of those little vans that they drive around in, which are not electric, by the way. They tried that. The U.S. Postal Service tried electric vans. It didn't work because you know what? Nobody does it like Tesla. So there are a lot of ways that Tesla and Elon Musk's various companies can save the federal government an enormous amount of money. And look, I'm a businessman. I've had arguments, knockdown, drag-out fights with business partners, with business associates, with banks, with politicians, with all these people. We can scream at each other. We can tell each other to go take a hike or go F off. But when it comes to business, we're businessmen. And I can guarantee you, if Trump is sitting in the Oval Office and he can save, a few $100 billion by drilling a tunnel instead of building a highway to nowhere or a train tracks to nowhere, they'll be best buddies before you know it. That's just the way business works. That's how we operate in business. Welcome to America. That is never, ever, ever going to change. But listen, pay really close attention to earnings week this week. There's going to be a lot of great questions asked. You're going to get a good roadmap of what's happening and where we're going from here. So pay attention. Remember, Wednesday, it's 4:30 after the close will be the earnings results, and the earnings call, I believe, is 5 or 5:30. Don't quote me on that, but pay attention. Thank you so much for watching, and happy hunting this week in your portfolio.